Communicatidization for how to talk your ideas good. Hi, Vlogalogue. I don't think I'm going to shock anybody by saying that I prefer text messages to phone calls, or that I prefer Slack or HipChat or Skype to meetings. Yeah. I feel like when we're talking about methods of communication, this is going to be one of those things where we all sort of agree to a certain extent. There are two kinds of communication that we have. One of them is synchronous, like talking to people face to face, or talking to people voice to voice over a phone thing. And then there's asynchronous stuff, which the really cool benefit is you can say a thing and then I can reply whenever the F I want. Which I think I gotta just, as an aside, there's that kind of running thing of, why hasn't he texted me back? Why hasn't she texted me back? Blah. Isn't that the whole point? I mean, it's asynchronous. Isn't the whole point of this type of communication that it is asynchronous? So, like, if you're busy, you can just reply when you need to, like when you have time. Yeah, I don't entirely understand how everybody's all super pro texting, but then are mad that there's not a response time. If you need a response from somebody, then yeah, you give them a call, or you go and see their face in person. Ugh, it's weird. But one of the things that's interesting about asynchronous communication is that there's a very broken feedback loop. So the idea of information transfer, kind of the theory of information, because I'm studying, part of my coursework has been information studies, but the idea is that basically there's kind of a model of information transfer, that you have a thing and then you have to communicate that thing, and then it travels across some channel, and then the other person takes that thing and then integrates it with their own information, and then they get a message. And kind of in talking about that, they talk about all of the different ways that interference can happen, that maybe I say something that isn't what I meant, or maybe there's something in between the sender and the receiver that garbles communication. Maybe someone has hacked your email, or maybe there's just a very loud noise and they can't hear what you're saying, or maybe because of some assumptions that they have, they hear the right thing, but they don't interpret the right thing. So maybe they've decided you're an asshole, so when you say, I'm going to help some orphans, they're like, he's not actually going to help some orphans, because he's an asshole, so he's lying. That wasn't the message that you were trying to say. I'm very good at examples, by the way. But the thing about asynchronous communication with texts and emails and that sort of thing is that you extend the range of kind of that channel, and what it means is that there's not much of a feedback loop. I mean, traditionally, you communicate, someone will give you some sort of response, and then you update your communication based on that. So, if I'm saying something to you, if I'm trying to explain how the internet works, and I'm talking to you face to face, and your face gets contorted and you're looking like this, then I understand that you haven't received my message, so I need to rephrase what it is that I have said. When kind of the example that Alex put out there of making a video, if I make a video, I go ahead, I make it, I edit it, and I put it out there, and then maybe you leave a comment, maybe you don't, or whatever, and there's you've received the thing, but it is possible for you to receive the message and for me to get absolutely no feedback, which is kind of crazy. It kind of breaks that whole information system, because now I can't revise my message based on the people who I'm trying to communicate to. If you send a text to someone and they don't reply, for days and days, are you going, maybe they didn't get the message, maybe they did get the message, maybe they didn't understand, or they misinterpreted what I was saying, or maybe they knew exactly what I was saying and they just don't care. You don't know. There's no loop at all. But I think given that people do have a problem with people not texting them back, I think that can't be the advantage that people are liking about asynchronous communication. I think one of the things that is the other benefit is that when you're texting, you can backspace. When you're sending an email, you can cut out that paragraph where you call the person an asshole. When I'm making videos, I can cut out so many really, really bad takes, which I probably ought to do more on Vlogalogue. But you have the opportunity to kind of pre-edit all of your communication, which is really, really beneficial. But I wonder, what is it exactly that is it the sort of thing where see, this would be a good time to do that editing stuff, but I don't do that for Vlogalogue. Sorry, Vlogalogue. I wonder, I think we really like the ability to edit what we say before it goes out there. But I wonder if it's the case that this stuff is so popular because we like that ability to pre-edit stuff, or it's the reverse, that because everybody texts and because everybody sends emails and does whatever, there's sort of an expectation that you're not going to say something stupid. That when you get an email from someone, you can make the assumption that they have written it and they have at least, gone back and looked at it a little bit, and so you can hold them accountable. If somebody says something stupid, as when you're out having a drink with them, you're not going to be like, well, no, that one time you said this one thing, so that must be your true and only view. I don't know. I find that to be an interesting question. Communication channels. I don't know. I think Alex, wasn't entirely talking about communication necessarily. I mean, writing in a journal and making videos, kind of talking to a camera without kind of that second step of, I think YouTube is a communication platform. Making a video is not. You are talking to an inanimate object, which is great, and it's very beneficial. But it's not an actual, you're not broadcasting the message. Once you put the thing up, then that's an actual communication channel. The same way, if you're writing a journal, if you never read it, you've not communicated. Someone else can read it 100 years later, and then I suppose that's communication. But it's not something that's kind of implicit in the medium. But yeah, so I find it interesting, and I wonder that whole fear and expectation about editing stuff, whether it's part of what really bugs me about kind of social media is that it's very challenging to say anything because you're immediately going, maybe that's not quite the right message. Whereas, man, if I just got to talk to everybody face to face, they couldn't really hold me accountable for half of the stupid stuff I say. So, those are my thoughts. I will see you guys next week.